And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network on this Wednesday evening. And we're going to kick things off with boys basketball. Coach Jim McDaniel from the Highlander boys joining us. How you doing, Coach?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Coming off an interesting, busy week for you last week.
Yeah, last week was our grind week, I guess, if you want to call it that.
4 games in, 5 days?
Yeah, we went Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, yeah, it's good to get some games in, I guess.
And 3-1 record in those 4 games, if memory serves.
Yeah, we did okay.
The team, it was Oak Grove, Wahpeton, and then you went to Devil's Lake and had rugby in Stanley. We'll go back just to these 4 games, Coach. What is this team starting to do a little bit better now as we move along to the second half of the year?
Well, I think the Wahpeton game, we got a lead. I thought we played pretty well. The part we're starting to figure out is the possessions. Every possession counts. We had some chances at the end, where we're just kind of, probably typically a guy would go in and try to get a quick bucket. We pulled it out, ate some clock, then they foul us. We go to the line, make free throws. So we kind of took the chances for Wahpeton to get back in the game because they needed quite a few trips, and we just kept the ball, right. and we scored from the free throw line, and we just didn't give them enough trips to even get back in the game.
It's kind of a key, is possessions. You hear coaches talk about that. It's not the points, it's limiting the other team's possessions. Isn't that kind of with the turnovers and that you want more possessions than they get?
Yes, and I think early in the season, I mean, we're just playing, and I don't know if the guys, after we've been in the EDC, some of those games it wouldn't even matter.
Right.
So now all of a sudden we're playing in games and we're up by 10, and the clock is ticking. We're in the fourth quarter, and it's they're going to need 5 or 6 trips to even get the 10 points back. Even if they're making every trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we were letting them have plenty of trips in order to get those points back. So that Wahpeton game, I thought we really controlled the ball in those last final 2-3 minutes and limited their trips. And of course, they didn't score on all of those trips that they did get. And so I thought that was the game where we really were pretty smart with the basketball down the stretch.
And beating a team that was a former EDC foe that's now in this middle class, to me, I think that's a signature win. It's like, see, we can beat these teams too.
Yeah, and Wahpeton, they'd beaten some teams, and that was a good game for us. Coach Jeff Ralph, I've known him for quite a while. He always throws together a pretty good team, so that was a big win for us.
Went up to Devil's Lake, a couple of games up at Devil's Lake. They kind of had the shootout like the girls did the week before, and the boys had one. You had Stanley and rugby first, then Stanley. Fun playing those teams, just like our shootout here. Playing teams you're not going to see until maybe state tournament. Yeah,
it was a fun atmosphere. The crowds are good. A lot of teams that you're not seeing. Kindred. We get to see some of the teams that we're playing play some teams from out west too. So that was Kindred and the Four Winds game. That one was following us that last day, and that one was a barn burner. So there was good games all around. I didn't like our rugby game. We didn't play real well. I don't know if we have any excuses for it. We didn't shoot the ball very well. We had too many turnovers and things like that. Which concerned me. But then, I'm thinking, well, okay, now we got to play Stanley the next early afternoon, and we didn't have a very good outing, and then we turn around and we beat Stanley, was getting ranked in state, and we beat those guys by 18 and played really well. So that's the team I want to see every game. I think we've had a couple of games that we've kind of wasted with poor performances and things like that. We just too many turnovers, not making shots. Can't have those.
Month and a half before the season, getting to the postseason. We'll get into what's coming up this weekend in a minute, but I guess my question is going to be rotation. Are you feeling you got your rotation down? Guys know their roles, and you're kind of settling into a routine?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm gonna stick with 6 guys getting bulk minutes, and then after that, it's going to be foul trouble and where guys need a rest here and there. So. I think everybody knows their role. JV, we're thin there. We got 7 guys that are playing. We're holding quarters on some guys. We got a couple guys that play with the C squad, and then they play JV, getting 6 quarters a night. So we're doing a nice job. We're getting a lot of guys playing quarters and playing a lot of basketball, and I think we're competing all three teams. So it's been fun. I think everybody knows their job, and yeah, now we're in the heat of it now.
Head out west, Killdeer coming up here on Friday night, and then Beulah on Saturday. You saw Killdeer here. You didn't play them.
Yep.
But Killdeer was here for our shootout. Beulah, the Miners, seem to always have a good basketball team.
We did see Beulah in Devil's Lake a little bit,
That's
too.
right.
So,
The Miners were there. So what's going on this weekend? What is this? This is your last overnight until down the road. But just getting down there and again, winning 2 games. That's the main point.
Yes, and again, I think 2 good teams. We're going to have to play well. I think there are 2 teams that we can get a win.
Right.
You know, I think there's a lot of teams out there that if you come and play, you're gonna win. And I think that would be the case for coming up this weekend. If we do what we did against Rugby, it's going to be a long weekend for us. But like we did against Stanley or in Wapaton, then I think we're sitting good. So hopefully the guys are ready and we perform like that, because I think when we're playing like that, we're a tough team to beat.
Final question for you, Coach. With what happened at Devil's Lake and then coming up this week, and this will be a similar question I'll have for Jimmy, is team chemistry. Getting a chance to hang out together for a couple of days in the hotel and so forth. How does that team bonding really build the quality of a team?
Yeah, it's I like the trips like that just for that team bonding. You know, you go that first night when we got done. I know we got beat and everything, but we talked in the locker room, and then we went to Pizza Ranch, and I tell you, the guys are putting down a lot of pizza and stuff like that, and they're having a good time together and things like that, and yeah, that's huge. To me, those are the things. You know, you go 20 years from now. They don't remember the offense we run or what out of bounds play or anything like that, but they do remember some of those things that happen on a trip or on the bus or whatever, you know. It's fun getting a chance to do those things.
All right. Well, this weekend it's Friday night, Killdeer, and then Saturday afternoon. For Beulah. So a quick turnaround.
Killdeer is in Mountain Time, so you got to remember that. And then JV starts at noon on Saturday. So we're getting a lot of basketball in a short amount of time.
All right. Well, Coach, appreciate you stopping by, and look forward to talking next week and see what you do here out west. Thanks for joining us.
Should be fun. Thank you.
You bet. Coach Jim McDaniel from the Highlander Boys Basketball. We're back with more Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network on this Wednesday night. We are switching gears, and we got girls basketball joining us here on the show, and joined by a senior, Hadley Thorson, and a junior. You're already a junior now, Greta Govan. You got another year to go, but we'll talk about that later on. But joining us here, and I guess first for you, Hadley, as a senior now, the way this season has gone with this new class, and you and I talked about kind of a little bit before how much fun it was going to be and how it's been so far. How have you enjoyed this year so far for you?
I've enjoyed it a lot. I feel like we competed really well, or have competed really well with the teams that we've had. I know watching Class B like past years, I've noticed that like Castleton and Kindred, and Northern Cass are all top schools in their region, and Maple Valley was kind of even in there too. But I feel like we would be really close competitors with them. So being able to actually see that on the court this year has been really fun. We haven't really had that chance to play them the past years, so it's been really fun this year being able to compete and not going in already kind of knowing the outcome. You've been able to just wonder and be able to strive for the best right away.
Greta, how about you as far as getting in this three-class system and playing and night in and night out? You guys have a chance to win.
I agree with a lot of what Hadley says. I also think that like the atmosphere at Class B, just watching, or like even in the teams we play, is a lot better in gyms. I think there's more people are interested, and the gyms are smaller too. So that helps. But I think it's been a lot more fun this year, just because we can compete with the teams we play and because of the atmosphere. So
I think we got to see that a lot on our first game in Oak Grove. Just like the smaller gym, lots of noise, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep, the better, like the atmosphere. It's kind of cool.
Lots of noise.
Got lots of noise, and you guys can probably feed off that. I mean, you know, the crowd gets to going, and even here at the Hack, and you get the crowds going. It'll probably get you guys revved up to get out there and play as well. Well, look, we were just talking with Coach McDaniel about their trip to Devils Lake. You had that a couple of weeks ago. And for you, Hadley, doing those overnights and having something like that, the little team chemistry, how fun was that for you guys?
That was a lot of fun. We got to like have pizza in the hotel room. Mom brought us some ice cream. But yeah, it was a lot of fun just getting to hang out with all the girls and having a little team bonding outside of just being on the court all the time.
Right. And for you too, Greta, just doing something like that, and because you probably never experienced anything. I don't think we've had overnights like that in the last few years.
yeah, I really liked it, and I definitely think it's really important, especially for a basketball team, because you have to be pretty close and you have to know the other girls well. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, now let's get to the tough questions. Yes, it's been all fun so far, but what do you feel, Hadley, first I'll ask you, what this team can kind of get better at as you get here in the second half of the year?
Yeah, together I think just playing as one, not feeling like we have to play as an individual, going out on the court, like say we're in a tough time, we're like maybe under 2 or we're above 2, we're just right neck and neck with them, not feeling like that one person has to go out and score. We just need to connect and get that chemistry back and know that if I pass this ball to her, she's looking for me to be open. Just having that team chemistry and having each other's back and playing as one and not as individuals.
And how about for you, what do you? What does Greta Govan have to do to improve on as you get here in these last handful of games?
I definitely think work on like we need to put together 2 halves better, because that's been kind of a struggle lately. And then yeah, just like stay positive. I think girls get down, especially if it's not going the way it goes. But we can always turn it around quickly. Momentum shifts are big in basketball, I think. So just keep working on it, I think, is what we kind of need to work on.
And I think with you two in particular, one thing I've noticed that both of you are very good on the defensive end. Is that something you take pride in playing on the defensive end and getting those turnovers and getting the team in the offense?
Yes, yeah. I think we both take big pride in getting steals, and it's a lot more fun. It makes the game way more fun when you're playing fast on the defensive side and getting those steals and getting that reward a little bit. Like even if you're not getting it on the offensive side, like say I'm not getting a lot of shots, I know that my job's more on the defensive side, so I can get all those steals and help out on the help and everything.
And rebound and get in
yes,
there.
And rebounds, yes.
And bounce around and get that.
Those are our game
basketball.
changers. So.
Those 50-50 balls. Going after those ones. Now, Greta, for you, we got Kindred here coming up on the road tomorrow night. What do you know about the Vikings?
They're a scrappy team. They're going to be fast. We're going to have to play one of our best games against them, I think. But I think if we do, I think we'll be able to compete well with them. Obviously, we beat them here, but a lot has changed. They've gotten better. Like I don't know. I'm not saying we've stayed the same. We've changed too. So I think it'll be a really good game as long as we can put 2 halves together and play well.
And then you got Beulah coming up on Saturday with that's back here at home and getting a home game on a Saturday afternoon. How's that for you? And just kind of getting a chance to be here at home on a Saturday.
Right. Yeah, that'll be fun. Getting to play at home again after having a few away games.
Yeah.
We got to see Beulah a little bit at Devils Lake. They have one really tall girl just trying to defend the post and play some ball on Saturday will be fun.
And take care of the basketball, right, Coach? All right, well, girls, I appreciate you joining us here tonight. Again, it's at Kindred on Thursday, and then Beulah here, and that is 4 o'clock, I believe, for the JV, 5:30 for the varsity here at the Hack on Saturday with the Beulah Miners. But first things first, Kindred Vikings tomorrow, and that'll be on the road at Kindred. So, ladies, congratulations so far. But now we got a month to go, and we'll see what happens. And thanks for joining us, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hadley Thorson and Greta Govan joining us from the Highlander Girls Basketball. Back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network, and we are talking with basketball that their postseason is down the road. Well, dance postseason is here. It's the state competition coming up this weekend in Minot, and we are joined by a couple of Valley City highlights, Katie Jones and Olivia Dietrich joining us. Ladies, how you doing?
We're good.
Yep, we're
Is it
good.
hard to believe that state competition is already here for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this season has gone by the fastest,
Yep.
by far.
Well, let's step back. Last week, you guys went to Jamestown, and Katie, I'll ask you this question first, because you took first in kick, first in jazz, and second in hip hop, if
Yep.
memory serves. That was the varsity. JV did pretty well too. They were first in jazz, first in hip hop, and second in kick. First, I'll ask you, Katie, with the kick routine, what makes that such a good routine for you guys?
We really connect very well with our kick routine, and communicating with each other just really makes the crowd enjoy watching it.
What's your favorite of the three?
Definitely hip hop.
Is that everybody's favorite, probably?
There are a few girls that go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the hardest one?
Kick.
Kick is the
Yeah.
hardest one?
Yeah.
Why would that be, Olivia? Why would kick be the hardest routine?
The technique of keeping your legs straight while you're trying to keep your endurance through the whole dance is definitely makes it the hardest too. Yeah.
And as a senior, I'll ask you that too. What's your favorite of the three?
My favorite is jazz.
Jazz. And why is jazz your favorite?
You get to connect the most with your teammates, and our coach choreographs moments that we can look at each other and just have fun rather than just looking out at a bunch of people watching. So it just makes it more fun to perform.
And of course, I've seen you guys do your hip hop routine because you've done it at halftime at a lot of basketball games. And the ending of it, if people haven't seen it, I love your ending of it and the precision. I mean, to be able to get all of you to hit the floor at the same time on cue, does that make it fun when you get a routine and just boom, hits it just like you did this past weekend, and you hit on all cylinders?
Yeah, that makes it, when we know that we did what we could to be together and the ending just drops in, you can just tell that the audience really enjoyed it. Is a really cool feeling.
And I'll ask you this, Katie, with the hip hop, it seems like you have to have attitude. Do you guys
Yes.
kind of bring that onto the floor when you do that?
Yes, you can really tell the girls that have big attitudes because they really bring it with their facials on the floor.
Because I know that there's a picture on the video screen that comes up every once in a while that is of your hip hop routine, and you all look like you're about ready to punch somebody out.
Yep.
But that's kind of what the routine is about, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
showing that attitude, like, hey, we are who we are, and if you don't like it, tough beans.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. Well, now as we get ready for Minot this weekend, Olivia, I'll ask you this: do you tweak anything, or what do you have to do now to get ready for a state competition?
This week is a lot more about precision with cleaning really specific things like angles of our arms on this specific count. So it gets really down to the nitty gritty of each routine. And so we spend a lot more time in practice.
Okay. And as a senior, is it kind of hard to believe it's already your senior year and you're gonna be done after this?
Yeah, this season 2 has gone by so fast. I can't believe it's almost all over.
And Katie, I'll ask you this too: is just how you guys have progressed throughout the year. Do you feel that this team has really improved from that first practice and first competition all the way through?
Yes, I believe we have increased a whole lot this year, and we've really grown in our communication and growing together as one.
And I think you've lost a couple of competitions because of weather, and you couldn't get there, and that always is tough when you practice all week long and then you can't go.
Yeah.
And it's a little deflating. Well, Minot this weekend, and we are. It used to always be in Grand Forks, didn't it, or does it
Yeah.
bounce around?
Well, it used to go back and forth between Grand Forks and Jamestown. So this
Okay.
will be our first time ever performing in
Yeah.
Minot.
Which would be kind of fun, I guess, getting a different venue than you normally are used to.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you, I guess, Livia, I'll ask you a final question. What do you feel is going to be a routine that you guys can maybe bring home that a state championship or do real well in?
I think if we really get our energy together for hip hop, that will be our favorite. And
Yeah.
How about you, Katie? Do you kind of agree
Yeah,
with that?
I agree with hip hop.
And that energy is a key, isn't it?
Yes.
You can't, you got to be high and and just go. Because then I suppose you guys are exhausted when you're done.
Oh yeah.
It's time to just be done with it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's this weekend, the state competition in Minot, and two of our dancers. We're going to talk more, a couple more dancers here in just a moment, but Olivia Dietrich and Katie Jones joining us. Ladies, good luck this weekend, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highland Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and we have a couple of more of the Valley City highlights. Again, their state competition is coming up this weekend, and we're joined by Nia Walker and Tessa Kinney, a couple of juniors in the Highlanders. Nia, how long have you been dancing with the highlights?
This is only my second year.
Second year. What got you into doing it?
I was in gymnastics for a long time, and my body could not handle it, and I've always wanted to be a dancer, so I finally got the courage to ask Megan to join the team.
Okay, how about you, Tess? How have you been?
It's been my 5th year on the
So
team.
you've been probably since 6th grade.
7th grade on
Seventh grade is when you
highlights.
started. So you started as a little squirt in 7th grade, as so to speak. But now, Nia, let's start with you. This past weekend, we were in Jamestown. Again, we were just talking about first in kick, first in jazz, second in hip hop. What's your favorite routine?
Mine is jazz.
Okay,
Yeah. But I do like the look of kick the most.
okay. How about you, Tessa?
It's a pretty close tie between hip hop and kick.
Okay, and like like Katie and Olivia were saying, it's hip hop seems to be the favorite for a lot of people, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it seemed like the most fun. Is it the most fun?
It is.
It's a lot of high energy.
It is the high energy and, like I said, the attitude. You gotta bring the toot if you're gonna be successful doing the hip hop. And now with kick. Precision is also pretty important to it,
Yes.
and since this is your second year, are you getting into that precision? Are you
Yeah.
learning a lot with
I'm
that?
finally getting it. There's a lot of technique that goes with it. It's still a little hard sometimes, but I think I'm finally getting the gist of it.
And having people like Livia and Tessa been around,
Yes.
I bet you get a lot
They're
of
a
help.
big help, yes.
Big help.
Especially this one.
Especially this one. Well, how about you, Tessa, too? Is that precision, when you first started, was that something to really learn, and now you feel you kind of got a knack for it?
Yeah, well, when I first started dancing, it was just for kicks, and we always did a kick dance each year, so it like really started you out good for when we joined JV and varsity.
Okay. And then now, like for hip hop, we talk about the attitude and then the energy. Is that one of those routines? And I'll ask you this first, Tessa, where you are just spent when it's done.
Yeah, there's a few moments in the dance where you're like, wow, this is a lot, but having the adrenaline kick in when you're like in front of a bunch of people makes it so much easier.
And for you and I, when you get a lot of times a JV will sit kind
Yeah.
of in front of you. Do you feed off what them?
Oh yeah, if it wasn't for them, I would be dead. I would be laying on the ground. Yeah, and I also have asthma, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would be.
I need the
literally,
support.
You would be
Yeah.
out. And really, and we kind of make fun of it, but I mean, really, we talk about like basketball and how they feed off the crowd, but you guys too, as dancers, you really get with the crowd's clapping and
Yes.
staying in rhythm. That's something that you enjoy and get into too, right?
yes.
How about goals for this weekend? What kind of things is your mindset as you get ready for the state competition?
I do have a concussion, so my biggest goal is to support my team in every way possible.
So
Even
you
though
won't be dancing.
I will not be dancing, but my goal is to be the biggest cheerleader for my team because I love them so much.
And bring that energy and help them with that energy
Oh
this
yes,
weekend.
I think
too.
I'm the most quiet on the team, but
Sure.
my goal is to be the most loudest this weekend.
Nice. That's a good goal to
Yes.
have. That's a great goal to have. Tessa, how about you?
I want us to hit all of our dances like to the best of our abilities, so we just know that we walk off the floor and have done our best. And I really want to feel a team connection between all of us.
And, you know, with the lone senior, Olivia, with her last year for you guys, I'm going to embarrass you. Sorry about that. Did she go? Oh, she
No.
said that. Good. Help maybe sending her out, you know, with a little something. Maybe do a little extra for that senior.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
something too in your mindset for you guys?
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough when it's done, isn't it? You've been
I'm
2
gonna miss
years
her.
and 5 years. It's going to be
Yeah.
tough with that last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're going to have fun.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
Is that something too that Coach Gilbertson, Coach Anderson, and Coach Johnson and all your coaches really say, hey, we're going to have fun too?
Yes.
That's something they preach?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you want to win, you want to come back with the trophy, but let's have fun.
Yes.
All right, well, one thing I want to wrap up with, this is an easy question. The Florida trip, is that still a possibility?
Oh yeah.
She got excited.
I get to compete at that one.
Because you should be,
I
is
should
that
be
in
better.
the spring, usually March?
No,
Or is
that's
it-
It's next week.
It is next week. Well, I wish it was spring, but anyway, so you go right from state competition and then you get into the nationals down in Florida. So how much fun is
Yeah.
that gonna be for
It's
you?
gonna be so much fun. I love Florida.
You've been there before, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And how
yes.
about you, Tessa?
This will be my second year going to nationals, so I think it'll be a fun little refresh of being down there again.
And this will be your first
It's
year.
my first year. Yes.
And you're gonna get to compete, that's the biggest
Yes.
thing.
Kick.
All
I'll
right.
get to compete kick.
Oh, that's outstanding. Well, just cheer loud this weekend for him and be that big-time cheerleader, and then we'll have some good things. Is it Orlando, or where are you?
Yes.
Is that where you're going to be in a couple weeks?
Yep.
Take me with you. I fit and carry on. No, I don't know. That's another story. You're like, oh, no, sorry, buddy. We're going on our own. Well, ladies, again, congratulations on the Jamestown competition, and good luck this weekend in Minot State competition. Get well and have fun in Florida.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Nia Walker and Tessa Kinney joining us from the Valley City Highlights. Again, their state competition in Minot this weekend, and then they'll be in Florida for the Nationals coming up next week. And so we look forward to hearing how that goes for them as well. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on the Highline Activity Network on Coach's Corner and checking phones. This is live stuff, folks. But we want to talk robotics. The Valley City robotics team, their elementary and junior high and their high school and junior varsity, they had a pretty good meet. They were up in East Grand Forks. Both of the high school teams, they got to the Sweet 16, got into the finals, and 3 trophies were brought home by the elementary and junior high. The robotics team really is just doing a phenomenal job right now. Annette Beatty coaching the high school and varsity. Emma Tufte works with the elementary and the junior high. And, of course, Jess Enstead kind of helps out, too, with that elementary. The first year that had an elementary robotics team here at Valley City, 14 kids signed up for it. And a grand total of 35 kids are part of the robotics program here at Valley City. That's high school and junior high and elementary, and they've got 35 kids total. Well, they've got a big Frozen Classic that's coming up this weekend on Saturday here at the Hack. So if you have not seen robotics before and you're curious and the weather's going to be nice, come on over to the Hack and watch it. This is going to be fun. It is really interesting. Of course, the games, if you've seen it before, the game is always different each and every year. And so I think they have to grab some things and put them in total things up, and I don't know what it is. It's all mechanical, technical to me. But come on out and watch it. We will have it on the Highland Activity Network if you can't make it, but I do encourage you to come on out here on Saturday. It's going to be a busy day here at the Hack on Saturday, as we will have the robotics tournament, and then Valley City Girls will be taking on Beulah. That'll be a 4 o'clock tip-off for the junior varsity game, and then the varsity game against the Miners at 5:30. So that's what's coming up here on Saturday here at the Hack. Wrestlers, they're on the road. Actually, tomorrow night, the Wrestlers will be home taking on West Fargo. And that will be Buddy Night for Express Wrestling. And that will be tomorrow evening. And last night, the Wrestlers were at Grand Forks Red River. The Express team, the Express Wrestlers, they had a real good outing. They lost, but they lost 36-33 to the Grand Forks. And the Highlander varsity winning 45-27, picking up their 4th win in the last 5 matches and duels, and their 2nd EDC win as they defeated Grand Forks Red River by a final of 45-27 last night. And in that meet last night, Colton Griebel, he picked up his 33rd win of the season and his 163rd of his career. He is now 5th on the all-time wins list for Valley City Wrestling with 163. 32nd win of the season for Ethan Miller, and he's up to 145. He's now into the top 10, tied at that number 10 spot as with 145 victories for those two gentlemen. Well, they're going to be in Aberdeen this weekend at Aberdeen Central. Also, again, tomorrow they've got West Fargo, and then they head to Aberdeen for the weekend for varsity wrestling. Express Wrestling, they'll be at Davies on Saturday, and they'll be in Aberdeen on Sunday. And we'll have Express Wrestling on the program here next week with Matt March. We'll talk about Express Wrestling, how things are going. A great season so far, and they're just hitting their stride. They usually have tournaments each and every weekend. We're going to step aside. We'll come back and wrap things up on our Coach's Corner for this Wednesday night. This is Coach's Corner. We're here at the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. And our final segment here on Coach's Corner on this Wednesday night, just a reminder of what is on the horizon here on the Highlander Activity Network. Wrestling tomorrow night, 6 o'clock with the junior varsity, and then the varsity at 7:30, around 7:30 for the varsity match coming up tomorrow night. And then on Saturday, we'll have robotics, the robotics tournament, and I think that can start around 10 o'clock in the morning, and that'll go out throughout the day with our robotics tournament. And then in the evening or late afternoon, we've got basketball, Valley City taking on Beulah, 4 o'clock for the junior varsity, and then the varsity at 5:30. And then we will be back with another Coach's Corner next week. on, the final day of January already here next week. And we'll be back here at the Hack for another edition of Coach's Corner. Speech, they're at North Sargent this weekend, and I believe this will be their first speech tournament of the year, because the one that they were supposed to have here in Valley City was postponed because of bad weather. And so they'll be at North Sargent for a speech tournament coming up here this weekend. So good luck to Maddie Clabo and Maddie Yoder and the rest of the Highlander speech team in this weekend. Well, that's going to wrap things up. And again, my thanks to our guests tonight, Jim McDaniel from the Valley City Highlander boys basketball team, Hadley Thorson joining us, along with Greta Govan from the Highlander girls basketball team. And we had Nia Walker, Tessa Kinney, Livia Dietrich, and Katie Jones from the Valley City dance team joining us from the Highlights, Valley City Highlights joining us tonight. And as usual, our technical director and camera operator, Jaden Johnson, working us here tonight. Next week, we'll be back 6 o'clock right here at the Hack for another edition of Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network.